Today we're going to talk about OptioPay, financial technology provider specialized in open banking for customer-centric value-add solutions and banking database campaigns. And Nicola, I'm so happy that you joined us today. You are the Chief Growth Officer in OptioPay, and you have the extreme experience in an entrepreneur and corporate leading solutions. And I want you to tell us more about OptioPay and its open data customer engagement platform. What is your mission? What made you develop it?
Hi, I'm so glad to be here today. Everyone, and personally, I need a mission. So what I get up for in the morning is that I believe, and we believe, that every person should be able to capitalize on the value of our own data footprint. Today, either we make other people rich with it, like the Facebooks of this world, and we get something intangible in return, a platform, or we hide our data. And so we believe that everyone should be able to make a tangible income in terms of money or else societal contribution from their data. And that's our mission. So how do we do that? And also, how does that work? So we're not a B2C company, as you said, and we solve certain people's problems. So we have large enterprises who need to engage more with their customer base because more and more large platforms come in between them and their customer base. And I know we'll talk about this a bit more later. But in essence, every large B2C company, be it a bank, an insurance, a retailer, a media company, or an energy company, anyone with a large customer base should and can be our customer and offer database reward solutions into their customer base. And what that solves is it gives them more frequency in customer interaction, more touch points, more digital touch points, loyalty solutions or loyalty, more engagement, and in essence, then better options to monetize. And that's what pretty much every large company is looking for at the moment. Most of all, also, what we're doing is we're making loyalty a profit center from being a cost center. Then you have our end consumer, we talked about those, and then we also have our merchant network. These are advertisers who have more and more issues, offering very, very highly targeted or using highly targeted campaigns today to address very specific customer segments and offer them a really great deal. And this ecosystem is what we're building, and this is how everyone in this ecosystem participates. Publisher gets more out of their customer base, engages them more. The customer gets tangible value in money and other things, and the advertisers talk to exactly the customers they want to talk to.
And what key problems, if you can count them and name them, what key problems do you solve for enterprises with large B2C customer bases?
Well, that's pretty much what I said. So customers, large enterprises, say a bank has the issue that customers log into their banking app irregularly, unless it's a trading app where people really check their quotes and really trade on a daily basis. Day trading is a very different story. But in essence, when do you check into you check whether your salary has arrived, maybe, and you also sometimes still need to make transfer money. That's as much interaction as a bank gets. Now that's not a lot. And then often we're also used to free services from our large enterprise customers. So what we solve for is that we can offer more interaction and more engagement with the customer base. So that people are asked or incentivized to check in more often, more frequently. And then, and then you get to know your customers based on bank data, which is essential. And yes, a bank isn't allowed to access your customer data without permission. So open banking really allows for that. And it's the first time the regulator has opened up the pipes to offer solutions like this. So, and then obviously, when you get to know your customer better, you understand what kind of products and services you can offer them. And so you can create better solutions for your customer base. And in essence, this platform also makes money, and we share that money with our publishers. So it's a profit center. So these are the problems we solve for our large enterprises that we work with on a B2B2C basis.
Looks like they were bleeding for your services. What's your revenue model?
because we have this ecosystem, we have a relatively interesting revenue model. So we make a SaaS revenue from our large enterprises. They pay to play. So it's a license model. We also obviously take a setup fee to enable them. And then we also take a per customer fee. So every customer that comes onto the platform, we get revenue for. We sometimes also offer consulting to these companies in advance or in certain topics. And for some of the customers who are not very good in digital marketing, we can also offer marketing as a service. So these are the revenue models we have with our publisher base, so with these large enterprises. And then obviously we have the platform revenue. So with the hundreds of merchants we work with, it's like a Facebook or Google ads. You pay for the advertising, the marketing, the deals that you put on the platform, and then we share that revenue back with our publisher base. So we make money on different parts of our business, but we never make money from the end customer.
And what are your plans for the coming year from a commercial perspective?
From the commercial perspective, we are going to cement our footprint in the DACH region, which is our home market. So we're based in Berlin. We're currently about 60 people. And so we will cement that. We have a great pipeline of clients to launch. And then we will also start expanding into other countries in continental Europe for now. Continental Europe, our license is portable. So as a regulated business, that is key. And the markets are really evolving, and open banking is becoming something that is moving from a pipe connection to real business models. And that's why the time is right for us to do that.
And right now, OptioPay operates as a fully serviced open data solution without IT integration. Am I right? Like for businesses from various industries. Not only
yes. So you need to dissect this. So open banking has moved from companies that are now very big and have large funding that have provided the pipes. So the connection to the bank's APIs, and then it's moving on to solutions. And we're sort of at this very end of the solution value chain because we help provide the traffic that is needed to make everyone else in the open banking food chain successful. Because if you don't have customer consent, there's nothing. So we operate as that. So we're not a connector. We work with connectors. We build some of the APIs ourselves, but very few. But we categorize the data. We work with the data so that it suits our needs. So we kind of start a bit later in the open banking food chain, but we are the people who make sure the consent is given. That maybe just as an explanation of what open banking, the different elements of open banking. And what we provide to our customers is indeed a fully managed software. So, and that's the beauty of it, because whilst there's a desire sometimes to integrate us in the actual consumer journey, when you then look at IT roadmaps, you end up in being 2 to 3 years down the line. And with us, we don't need integration. We can integrate through different ways. And we integrate in the customer journey as in the sense that we have an app wrapper and we lead people into our solution and then back again into the actual customer solution. And the beauty is that the customer doesn't need to do anything. We do it all for them. We say we unburden our customers. So we take all that pain and hassle and project management away from them. We also ensure that we understand what makes people tick. And we provide obviously all this content on this platform, and therefore we can launch within a few weeks. So it's really easy to start with us, and you can always worry about more deep integration at a later stage.
Your clients' customers receive rewards in return for sharing data sources such as their bank account data, for example, and your platform is currently based on bank transaction data, like an open banking technology. How do you incentivize customers to share their personal data once and?
Okay, so open banking is one of the first open data sources that is available through regulation, and that's what our business model is based on. There will be more. We'll, I think, talk about this later, but at the moment it's bank transaction data. So if you imagine you are a mobile phone customer and you have a contract with a mobile phone provider, you will all of a sudden see in your app a banner or a new tab that says Telecom X rewards. And you click on that, and then you end up still being in that brand world, right? I just wanted to make clear that we don't appear under the OptioPay name, we appear under the name of our customers. And then you basically can see all sorts of deals that you can interact with. They range from questions you can answer, they range from videos you can watch, link out campaigns, anything. The point is you get rewarded for everything you do. So if you want to watch a video, you get €1 put in your wallet. Or something. If you answer 3 questions, you get 3 trees planted. And then there's some deals that require a bank connection. So up to then, you don't need to do anything in terms of data sharing. But if you want to consume an offline cashback, so if you want to have a grocery chain that offers you a cashback and say, if you go shopping at grocery Happy Day 3 times for a total value of €100, you receive a €10 cashback or a 10% cashback. Then we tell you why we need to connect your bank account. It's because we need to track the transactions that you make to understand if you're eligible. So everything that has to do with data sharing has to come at a point where the customer understands why. And that's what we do. And we make it very, very transparent and very clear. And when that happens, we obviously get some history on bank transaction, which means that we can then from then on start making the deals we offer to show everyone smarter. But you can interact with our product before you need to share data. It's important to give people the option to explore.
Yes, of course. But currently, PSD2 requires customers to renew their consent to share data every 90 days. So how do you make sure people ongoingly share their data?
It's a content play, right? So you have to play on various things. You have to play on trust. It needs to be seamless and trustworthy, and you can't afford to have any issues with regards to trust. So, and the trust sometimes also comes with the large brands. We've researched that. And so when you've transacted and interacted with a large brand before, you inherently trust that brand more than you would maybe a small startup. So that together with our regulation, we very much show people that the solution is GDPR compliant, that it is, a regulated company. And so that is important. And then it's like with every content play, you have to offer changing, fantastic, and better content than other people. And it needs to be fun in addition. And in essence, what you need to do is you have to build a fear of missing out effect. So it needs to become something that, oh, let me check if I've now received money in my wallet, or maybe some more trees have been planted for me. Stuff you check at the bus stop. And when you've gotten there, then you want to continue to do this. Also, obviously, when there's money in the wallet, to transfer it back onto a bank account, we need the bank account connection. So that is another path. And as a perspective, we will also look at perpetual models where you can invest in ETFs, whatever is in your wallet, you can at the end of the month invest in an ETF plan and things like that, so that it's a constant flow in that system.
And how do you prevent that data churn?
The data churn for us is exactly that when a customer stops sharing their data and churns in general. When they churn and they still interact with deals that do not require a bank connection, we can re-incentivize them. And we also offer incentives for people to just straight out connect their bank account. But in essence, if you're not relevant to the customers, they will churn. But that's the same issue with every single digital solution.
How do the ecosystem players benefit from this data you collect?
Okay, so there are 2 different types of players in this. So we have the customer who brings us customers, right? We call them sometimes customer bringers. So they inject traffic onto our platform, onto their platform. And they also receive the consent. So we will furnish them with a plethora of information about their own customer base that they haven't had before. Why? Because even if these people have collected information about their customers, it's usually in their own universe. We can give people insights into their competitive shopping. We can tell them how much share of wallet they have in terms of if their basket sizes are bigger or smaller. If it's a bank, where else the customer has bank accounts, what savings products they have, insurances. So we can show them so much more information, and we help them understand that information too. So that's obviously a benefit for you if you are, if you put hundreds and thousands of customers onto this platform, you get the data and you can work with it. And the working with it is really important because a lot of companies today, even if they have data, they don't really know what to do with it. So we help them. Then there's the other side of the merchants, and merchants, big brands, department stores, e-tailers, everyone. If you target based on bank data rather than on preference, which you do today in the large networks, you can also target customers that you have never accessed before and you've never known enough before about. And that again, it's based on facts. Our bank transaction data doesn't lie. And we have information that goes well beyond the targeting that you can do on today's platforms like Facebook and Google. Mm-hmm. Those people do not receive the individualized bank data because they haven't received consent, but they can target based on bank data.
Okay, I got you. And maybe you see some trends evolving in European and international regulation regarding customers' data authorship.
Yeah, so as I said, so we open data, open banking. So PSD2 has been one of the first regulations, or the first regulations in the EU that has really given us authorship of data, and that is going to continue. So we already see, I think early December there was a new announcement that there's been put new laws have been put in place so that it's facilitated. It's going to be a process, but we believe that more data from trade, from retailers, from other parts have to be, and from governments have to be made available through APIs to give people the opportunity to share it. And that obviously brings with it a whole new option of business models based on that.
And so what opportunities do you see in loyalty and reward programs?
I think where we are at the moment is a very emerging market. So we're just starting to see that trend. I think we're all currently hooked up to very many individual loyalty programs, and we have to use different apps, and then this delivery service sends you a stamp, and then you have points there and there. So I think there's the opportunity for people to just act on loyalty based on their data rather than with an individual retailer. And I think that's a huge potential in our existing market, because we've only just started, and we've only just started seeing how people react to having actual cash in their wallet for their own behavior. And and it's also the fact that we can offer offline loyalty, and offline loyalty is new. And if you merge off and online together, then you just basically can help people manage their lives a little bit more effectively. So I think and we see this emerging internationally. So it's a very early market, but it's emerging, which is why that's what we're focusing on. And that's why there's no 5-year vision on this. But if you ask me, the whole vision of the super apps that are starting to emerge from Apple and Google, and then there's all the payment companies that are trying to follow suit. I believe that the fight through the voice to the contact of the customer is going to become much more severe, and that it's a good opportunity right now for large enterprise brands to keep their customer base engaged and make sure that they don't lose touch with them. So these are currently the trends that I see, and I believe that open banking is just at the very start of where the potential lies, as is the remaining open data movement.
Okay, thank you so much. And let's talk a bit about people who make this magic happen, who moves your services. who lets it grow. It was quite a different time actually when you started OptioPay. It was 2014, and comparing to this work from home reality century, it's quite a different time. And in case OptioPay is growing so fast, are you going to grow your team also in the following year?
Yeah, so there are different things that you're packing into one. So yes, OptioPay today is a very different company than it was when it started. It also has a very different business model and people. And so we've pivoted the company, I think, a couple of times now, or evolved it strongly. And I think the first thing that happened when the pandemic broke down, we used our technology to help small businesses, and we pulled the team together and offered a solution where people could buy vouchers, and that from small businesses. And that really pulled the team together right in early 2020. I think that was a cool project to do, and it was something that kept the team spirit alive and didn't, focus people. And today, yes, we do work remote. It opens our talent pool, but we still also very much believe in coming together. We're just moving offices, and we really believe that a mix between remote work and collaborating in person is great. We will not force anyone to sit at their desk and come to the office just to work. That doesn't make sense in today's times. We're growing, but we're really growing through technology as well. So it's not our business does not scale by just bringing in more and more people. So yes, and we will grow on the technology side. We will grow on the commercial side, but it's a controlled growth in terms of people. And so this is where we stand. We are very specific in our needs. So our talent pool is small. And I think we are seeing this with everyone. Demand for good people is extremely strong, both on the technology as well as on the commercial side. And yes, so we face the same challenges most companies face out there, and it's a matter of differentiation, mission, and people, culture that will make us successful or not.
And so you see that the tech talent market in Europe is quite small, yeah? I mean, in the fintech industry.
I think it isn't. I think the industry is relatively agnostic. In the technology side, it's very much, as you know better than anyone, it's a matter of the technology use, and that's not necessarily fintech specific. So if anything, it's a programming language topic. It's everything to do with data. So machine learning, data science, and that's obviously not only needed in fintech, it's needed pretty much everywhere. And so that's obviously what we're seeing. We're seeing on the one hand that with remote work, our market reach is broadening, but at the same time, obviously, there is just not enough talent on the market to fulfill everyone's scaling and technology needs. So that's just a mere fact.
Being able to strategically hire individuals well suited to the market opportunities is quite an important thing on the very source of any company. But when the market opportunity is unclear, when the market is rapidly changing, it's better to hire well qualified people who are gonna find these market opportunities or create those. And that's why some companies turn to externals, advisory, outsourcing. Do you hire in-house only, or have used platforms like TopTal or offshore development firms?
So we've looked at that in depth in the summer, but because we've launched a completely new product suite, we've actually worked very close to the core for the time being, and we've been lucky and happy to attract good talent, and we've had people bringing in other people. And as we expand, we didn't feel comfortable in bringing in whole offshore development or outsourcing teams so far. But that isn't to say that we will not be moving into that direction. As we, for example, build from a web app, we build our own native app. And for example, that could be something that we could be looking at. Other things that are sort of more adjacent, where we feel comfortable that we can hand over distinct projects.
And talking about the targeted marketing alternatives that you offer, you're helping your clients reach their prospects based on the real spending behavior and live events you track. Tell us about the specific marketing flow you developed and how successfully you offer it to your customers.
Yeah, I think we've touched on this before. So what happens is we have a product suite. We have our B2B2C white label front end, which is what we've talked about. And we also have a partner portal where we show people platform performance and obviously all the data analysis and analytics that we provide. And then the missing piece is what we call a campaign manager, which is where merchants can enter campaigns and deals. And it's a very customer friendly, very user friendly surface, which we all know is not always the case when you use some other platforms. And it just basically lets you pick and choose as we've optimized it so that people need as few clicks as possible to put their campaign and their deal together. And within that is the targeting. So within that, you can pick and choose who you want to address this to. We provide guidance also in terms of reward levels. We will only accept rewards from a certain uplift, and it always needs to be a better reward. The more you target, the higher the uplift for the end customer needs to be. So there's some rules in there, but in essence, that's how we work. We know that 50% of people are ready to share their data for tangible benefits. If you think about the digital population today and the people who really are highly engaged, that's a large number of people, considering we haven't confronted them with really data based models so far. It's only starting. So we see really good conversions on things that are relevant. So the targeting is important, but the uplift of what you offer is also important. So what the mind shift is in people, we need to go away from the broad performance marketing, get 1% cashback on this and this. You need to offer people higher uplifts for specific actions. And so what we offer are really cool different campaign types. So you can build your own flywheel. As I said, there are deals that enable you to grow your basket share. They can make you your share of wallet you can target getting more information. We see someone has a pet, tell us what that pet is. Is it a cat, a dog, a bird? Because we can't see that from transaction data. So there's all sorts of things you can do as an advertiser to interact with the customer base. And I should say every publisher, so everyone who puts traffic onto the platform is automatically also an advertiser. So it only makes sense if you offer your own products on that platform too.
And what about OptioPay itself? How does OptioPay markets its own solutions to the enterprise?
Well, we have so many different customer bases, right? So so far what we do is a strategic sale. So it's not as if we can automate our sales process, and we do enterprise sales. So it's a stage process where you have to have touch points with different people in the organization. So it's consultative selling. We're building a much stronger content marketing and B2B marketing plan, but it is working with the right customers, and we find that out relatively quickly through some scoping workshops, which are paid so that we don't lose our time and resources, and the customers learn a lot from them. But access is not so much of a problem for us. We thankfully have a great network. We have an advisory network that helps us a lot, but it's also word of mouth. So in general, at the moment, we have a great pipeline. So thankfully, it's not, customer access is not the problem on the enterprise side, and we need to make sure we grow fast enough as a team to make sure our pipeline grows ahead of our projections. And so I think that we're working on that, and it's leading through thought leadership and leading through case studies, and then obviously conferences, press, etc., and social networking. But it's not a machine at this point, and we don't need it yet. On the advertiser side, on the merchant side, we need frequency and we need volume. So that's a slightly different story. And we've gone through a learning curve there. So we now really have built a name for ourselves in the market through conferences, performance marketing conferences, affiliate network conferences, and we've turned ourselves around from cold calling to receiving inbound leads from agencies, but also from brands themselves. And then obviously, I believe in a startup everyone sells. So everyone activates their networks, and I always have a wish list out there for companies that I still want to speak with. So that's currently the reality of it. So the sales, B2B marketing and sales lies more on the merchant and advertiser side, where we need, many, as we said, content is king. So what brings our product to life. On the publisher side, it's a slightly different sales approach.
And Nicola, talking about your personal experiences operating on the market, how does privacy awareness challenge open data-based reward systems?
As I said, so we're so early in the market, and it's always, you can always focus on the downside or on the upside. We believe that, there are about 22% of millennials now in the market in digital consumers. Very different approach to data sharing, just a normality. So already there's a 22% of all consumers customer base opportunity. And then, as I said, about 50% in general are either positive or agnostic. So there's a 50% market opportunity. And then there are other people who will never share their data, and that's fine. We don't need to evangelize and convert everyone. And I believe that you need to be market making. So we have an opportunity of people who are ready, and then we need to prove trust. And I think everyone needs to play together to make sure that technology doesn't let us down, that we take the relevant security measures, that we deal carefully, ethically, and consciously with people's data, and that we live up to our promise. And I think if we do that, this is going to grow, and people will be more confident over time.
I think we are done today with our questions. And I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. I was so delighted that you took some time and scheduled this meeting with us.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Today, yeah.
Bye. Have a great day. Bye.